Someone is stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from your retirement account right now. Not a hacker, not illegally. Your 401k provider, completely legal. The average American loses over $300,000 to 401k fees over their lifetime. That's a house, your kid's college, the retirement you wanted. The worst part, most people have no idea it's happening. I'm going to show you how to stop it before it's too late. Here's a question. Do you know how much you paid in for 401k fees last year? If you're like 92% of Americans, the answer is no. According to TD Ameritrade, 37% of Americans don't even think they pay any 401k fees at all. Let me be clear. You are paying fees. You're paying them every single day. They're compounding against you while your investments try to compound for you. It's a silent war you're losing. Think of it like filling a bathtub with a small leak at the bottom. Water's rising, so you don't worry, but that leak drains everything. Meet Sarah. She's 35, makes $75,000 yearly, contributes 10% to her 401k. Her employer matches 3%. She's doing everything right, 30 years until retirement. At a 7% annual return, she should have about $1.2 million by age 65, right? Wrong. Her 401k has a 2% annual fee. With that 2% fee, Sarah won't retire with $1.2 million. She'd have $740,000. That's $460,000 gone. Nearly $500,000 evaporated by fees. Here's the insane part. If Sarah's fees were 0.5% instead of 2%, she'd retire with $1.05 million. That 1.5% difference costs her $310,000. $310,000. For what? For the privilege of saving for your own retirement. This silent theft needs to end now. Where exactly are these fees hiding? They come in 3 categories, specifically designed to confuse you. The industry doesn't want you understanding this. Fee number 1, administrative fees. These are charges your employer's 401k plan needs just to exist. Record keeping, legal compliance, customer service, accounting, trustee fees. Sometimes your employer pays these, often they don't. When they don't, fees come directly from your account. Typically 0.5% to 1% of your assets annually. Some plans charge flat fees instead, maybe $50 to $100 yearly. That's actually better if you have a large balance. Most people never see this itemized. Fee number 2, investment fees, called expense ratios. This is the big one. Every mutual fund in your 401k charges this fee automatically. This covers the fund manager's salary, marketing, operations, and profits. Expense ratios range from 0.15% for index funds to over 2% for actively managed funds. You're paying this fee even if the fund loses money. Let me show you with actual numbers. You have $100,000 in a fund with 1.5% expense ratio. That's $1,500 yearly just in investment fees. When your account grows to $200,000, you're paying $3,000 yearly. At $500,000, you're paying $7,500 annually. Fund companies say their expert managers beat the market. Here's the truth. According to SPIVA scorecard, over 90% of actively managed funds fail to beat their benchmark. You're paying premium prices for subpar performance. That's not investing. That's getting robbed with a smile and a handshake while wearing a suit. Fee number 3, hidden fees, the worst offender. Revenue sharing, 12b1 fees, wrap fees, soft dollar arrangements, proprietary fund requirements. The really sneaky stuff. These don't show up clearly on your statement. They're buried in 80-page plan documents written in legal jargon that would make a lawyer's head spin. Let me explain 12 billion minus 1 fees. These are marketing and distribution fees that mutual funds charge, adding another 0.5% to 1% to your costs annually. So the fund is using your money to advertise to other people. You're paying to help them get more customers. Let that sink in deeply. Then there's revenue sharing, where mutual funds kick back money to your 401k provider for being included in the plan. This creates serious conflicts of interest. The funds in your plan might not be there because they're the best options, but because they pay the highest kickbacks to your provider. There are also trading costs, commissions and spreads when fund managers buy and sell securities. These aren't included in the expense ratio but still hurt you. Add it all up, and what looks like a 1% fee on paper might actually be costing you 1.5% or even 2% when you include everything. Let's talk about why these fees are so devastating. It all comes down to one word: compounding. Einstein called it the 8th wonder of the world. He's right, but it works both ways. While your investments are compounding up, your fees are compounding against you. It's a double-edged sword cutting you. Here's someone who's 30 years old, earning $60,000 yearly, contributing 10% to their 401k with a 3% employer match, 7% annual return, 3% salary increases. With 0.5% total fees over 35 years, they'll have approximately $1,567,000 at retirement. With 1% total fees, they'll have $1,357,000. That's $210,000 less already. With 1.5% fees, they'll have $1,175,000. Now we're down $392,000. With 2% fees, they'll have $1,018,000. That's $549,000 lost to fees over their career. Let me put this in perspective. That extra 1.5% in fees will cost this person more than $500,000, more than most annual salaries. But wait, it gets worse. Same situation, but they make $100,000 yearly instead. With 0.5% fees, $2,612,000. With 2% fees, $1,697,000. The difference? $915,000, nearly $1 million, gone. Not lost to bad investments, not lost to a market crash. Lost to fees that you probably didn't even know existed. Here's the part that should make you absolutely furious. That $915,000 you lost. Let's say you withdraw 4% yearly in retirement, the standard safe rate. 4% of $915,000 is $36,600 yearly. You just lost $36,600 in annual retirement income because of fees. That's $3,050 per month, every single month, for the rest of your life. And remember, this isn't theoretical. This is happening right now to millions of Americans who don't even realize it. So by now you're wondering, how do I find out what I'm actually paying? Great question. Unfortunately, it's intentionally difficult. But I'll walk you through it. Step 1. Request your 401(k) disclosure. By law, your 401(k) plan administrator must provide this annually. It breaks down all plan and investment fees. If you haven't received one or can't find it, contact HR, your plan administrator. Specifically request it. They are legally required to provide it. Step 2. Review your investment expense ratios. Look at every fund you're invested in and find its expense ratio. This should be clearly listed. If you're in a target date fund, which many people are, pay special attention. Some have expense ratios of 1% or higher. Others are as low as 0.10%. Step 3. Check for administrative fees. Look for per participant fees, listed as flat dollar amounts like $50 yearly or as percentages like 0.5% of assets. Also look for transaction fees. Some plans charge you every time you rebalance or change investments. These add up faster than you'd think. Step 4. Calculate your total cost. Here's the simple formula. Administrative fees plus average expense ratio plus any additional fees equals your total annual fee percentage. Then multiply this percentage by your current account balance to see your actual dollar cost. Let me show you an example with real numbers. You have $150,000 in your 401(k). Administrative fees are 0.35%. Your target date fund expense ratio is 0.75%. Additional fees are 0.15%. Total equals 1.25%. 1.25% of $150,000 equals $1,875 per year you're paying in fees. That's $156 per month disappearing from your retirement, every single month, year after year. Step 5. Use online tools. The Department of Labor has a fee comparison tool. Personal Capital, Vanguard, and Fidelity have calculators for lifetime fee costs. I'll put links to all these in the description below. Now, here's what to look for. If your total fees are 0.5% or less, excellent. 0.5% to 1%, decent but room for improvement. 1% to 1.5%, problematic, you're paying too much. 1.5% to 2%, bad, significantly impacting your retirement. Over 2%, terrible, this is borderline criminal, and you need to take action immediately. Don't wait another day on this. Your future depends on it. So you found your fees, and they're higher than they should be. What now? You have more power than you think. Here's your step-by-step action plan. Action number 1. Optimize within your current plan. Even if your plan has high fees overall, some funds will be better than others. Choose wisely. Look for index funds instead of actively managed funds. Target date funds with low expense ratios under 0.20%. Large cap blend funds that track the S&P 500. Avoid actively managed funds with expense ratios over 1%. Avoid specialty or sector funds unless you really know what you're doing. Avoid 12b1 fees if possible. Even if all your options are imperfect, choosing a fund with 0.5% expense ratio instead of 1.5% will save you hundreds of thousands over time. Action number 2. Talk to your employer. This is crucial. Most employers have no idea their 401k plan is expensive. They signed up years ago, never revisited. Schedule a meeting with HR or your benefits coordinator. Come prepared with your fee analysis, comparison data from better plans, and specific recommendations for lower-cost providers. Here's something most people don't know. Your employer has a legal fiduciary duty under ERISA to provide a retirement plan with reasonable fees. That's federal law. If your plan has excessive fees, your employer could actually be sued by employees. This has happened many times, especially with large companies that should know better. You don't need to threaten legal action, but mention you're concerned about whether the plan meets its fiduciary responsibilities. That usually gets serious attention fast. Suggest lower-cost providers like Vanguard, known for low-cost index funds. Fidelity, competitive fees and good platform. Charles Schwab, low-cost options and excellent service. Even if your employer doesn't switch immediately, raising the issue puts it on their radar. If multiple employees raise concerns, change becomes much more likely. Action number 3. Maximize contributions strategically. If your employer offers a match, always contribute enough to get the full match, even with high fees. Why? Because a 100% instant return from the match beats any fee. If your employer matches 100% up to 3% of salary, that's free money. Example, you make $75,000. That's $2,250 in free money annually. Even if your fees are 2%, you're still coming out way ahead by taking that match. But here's the strategy. Contribute enough to get the full match, then consider putting additional retirement savings into a different account with lower fees instead. Action number 4. Use an IRA for additional savings. If you've maxed out your employer match and your 401k has high fees, open an IRA. With an IRA at Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab, you can access funds with expense ratios as low as 0.03%. Avoid all administrative and hidden 401k fees. You have complete control over your investments. For 2024, you can contribute up to $6,500 yearly to an IRA, $7,500 if you're 50 or older. If married, your spouse can also contribute $6,500 to their own IRA. So the strategy, contribute to 401k up to employer match, then max out IRA. Then if you still have more to save, go back to the 401k. This minimizes money exposed to high fees while still taking advantage of tax-deferred growth. Action number 5. Roll over old 401ks. If you've changed jobs and have old accounts sitting with previous employers, you're probably paying fees for nothing. 57 million Americans have old 401ks they forgot about. You have several options. Roll it into your new employer's 401k if fees are better. Roll it into an IRA, usually the best option for fees and flexibility. Leave it only if fees are very low, or cash it out. Don't do this. Cashing out means you'll pay taxes and penalties, potentially losing 30% to 40% immediately. Rolling old 401ks into a low-cost IRA is usually the smartest move. Action number 6. Stay vigilant. Fees change, plans change, your circumstances change. Set a calendar reminder to review your 401k fees once yearly without fail. Check if your employer has changed providers, if new lower-cost funds have been added, if your expense ratios have changed, or if better options became available. Spending 1 hour yearly reviewing your fees could literally add 6 figures to your retirement. That's a pretty incredible return on your time invested, right? Let's zoom out for a moment and talk about why this issue is so important, not just for you personally, but for our entire society. The median retirement savings for Americans aged 56 to 61 is $21,000. $21,000. That's supposed to last through potentially 30 years of retirement. There are many reasons for this retirement crisis. Stagnant wages, rising costs, lack of financial education. But excessive 401k fees are a massive part of the problem. A study by the Center for American Progress found that 401k fees will cost American workers an estimated $750 billion over the next 35 years. That's $750 billion. This money isn't disappearing into thin air. It's being transferred from working Americans to financial services companies. Wealth extraction, plain and simple. And here's what makes me angry. The people being hurt the most are the ones who can least afford it. The most vulnerable are getting hit hardest. High fees disproportionately affect small business employees, whose companies can't negotiate the low fees that large corporations get. They're paying the highest rates for the same products. Lower-income workers with smaller balances often pay flat fees that represent a much larger percentage. Young workers have the longest time horizon and therefore suffer the most. Meanwhile, the financial services industry makes billions in profit from these fees. They fight tooth and nail against any regulation requiring fee transparency or lower costs. But there's good news. Change is happening. The shift toward index funds and low-cost investing has accelerated dramatically in the last decade. Competition is working. Providers like Vanguard have forced the entire industry to lower fees just to compete. Lawsuits against companies with high-fee 401k plans have been successful, creating pressure. And awareness is growing. Videos like this, articles, podcasts, financial advisors who actually care about their clients, all of this is slowly shifting the culture toward transparency. But change will only happen if people like you take action. If you review your fees, optimize your investments, and hold your employer accountable for their choices. If you take nothing else from this video, remember this: every 0.5% you reduce in fees could add $100,000 or more to your retirement savings. Those fees are compounding against you right now, today, this very moment. Every day you wait is another day of lost growth you'll never recover. Here's what I want you to do right now. Step 1. Pause this video and find your last 401k statement. Actually do it. Oh wait. Step 2. Look up the expense ratios of the funds you're invested in. If you don't know how, I've put a tutorial in the description below. Step 3. Calculate your total fees using the method I showed you earlier. Write down the number. See it in black and white. Let it motivate you. Step 4. If your fees are over 1%, take at least one action from this video this week. Just one. Send an email to HR, open an IRA, or rebalance into lower cost funds. That's it. One small step this week could change your entire financial future. One action creates momentum for more actions. Now, I know this topic can be overwhelming. Retirement planning is complex, fees are confusing, and the financial industry doesn't make it easy on purpose. That's exactly why I created this channel. If you found this video helpful, subscribe because I release new videos breaking down complex financial topics into clear, actionable advice. No BS, no trying to sell you something, just real information that can actually help you build wealth. I've also created a free 401k fee analyzer spreadsheet. Just plug in your numbers and it'll tell you exactly how much you're paying in fees and how much it's costing you over time. Link is in the description. And if you have questions about your specific situation, drop them in the comments below. I read every single comment and I'll do my best to help. Remember, this is your retirement, your future, your money. Don't let silent fees steal it from you. Take action today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.